Hi, good evening. Welcome to Sports Today. Great day for Indian cricket fans after this at this Headingley Test match. Well, India not still quite out of danger, but remarkable fight back by the batsmen. At the end of day three at stumps, India are 215 for two with Cheteshwar Pujara batting at on 91 not out and Virat Kohli, of course, unbeaten on 45. The two have added 99 runs so far for the third wicket. India still trailing by 139 runs, like I said. But just look at the turnaround. India were all out for 78 in the first innings. England got a massive 432, big lead there. But India are chopping away into that lead. India went to stumps at 215 for two. It was a pretty good bowling from England in the first up. The new ball bowlers were pretty tight and relentless again. Rahul got out for eight. He fell to Craig Overton. But again, another 50 from Rohit Sharma, and he was involved in a big partnership with Cheteshwar Pujara as well. So, and then Virat Kohli, he has been struggling for runs. Even he came out and looked solid. The most important aspect about this entire innings was Cheteshwar Pujara, the way he batted, his strike rate, he batted beautifully, and of course, bad light forced the players to go off the field when England decided to move to the paces, and which meant the bad light rule applied and the players walked off. But remarkable performance this, considering what happened in the first innings. Of course, conditions have become a lot easier to bat. The pitch is flat, which meant India's batsmen made merry after that horror show on the first day when they were bundled out for 78 after Virat Kohli won the toss and decided to bat. Now, how is this test match headed? I've been talking about it last afternoon. I told you that India needed those early wickets to chip away and keep that England lead in check. Did not happen. The England top order got runs. Rory Burns, Hasib Hamid, David Malan, of course, another century for Joe Root. But the Indians didn't allow the last two wickets for England to add too many runs. Um, and now they're beginning to look very, very good. Now suddenly, this lead of 139 for England, it's beginning to give some sort of hope for India. Can they save this Test match? If you're being overly optimistic, can they even push? Can they even push and think of probably a victory on the final day? But again, like I said, this pitch has really flattened out. It is England had this massive lead, but kudos to India. It's not easy to sort of come back and perform the way the Indian batsman did. Rohit Sharma, he got out for 59. He played 156 balls, seven fours, and that six as well. Again, he showed remarkable application, remarkable character. Rahul struggled. He was there, but the Indian openers had done the job. They stuck around for 19 overs. He fell before lunch did Rahul, but they had really blunted, to an extent, managed to blunt that new ball, having stayed together for 19 overs. And, Rahul didn't get those runs, but he stuck around at least with Rohit Sharma and then Cheteshwar Pujara. He has been criticized. Cheteshwar Pujara has been criticized. I have asked these questions as well on Pujara's temperament, the fact that he's been making the same mistakes. He would have been irked with himself, especially after that dismissal in the first innings at Headingley just a couple of days back. But wow, he's turned it around and how unbeaten on 91, looking at a century. He would have liked to go to stumps with his 100, with that 100 under his belt, but he'll of course get that opportunity tomorrow. Virat Kohli looked so good in that first innings at Lords, didn't get too many runs in the second innings there, and of course failed in the first innings here, not getting too many runs at Trent Bridge either. But this is a remarkable performance from the Indian batsmen. They were resolute. They looked to punish the loose balls. And James Anderson, they took James Anderson didn't get any wickets. And only two wickets to fall. One was to Craig Overton, and the other was to Ollie Robinson. So that's the summary then from the India versus England Test match, day three of the third Test match. India 78 all out and 215 for two in the second innings, trailing England still by 139 runs after England scored 432. Now, how is this? How is this match looking out? Of course, England will want to come and dent the Indian lineup again, and then just try and chip away at that lower order as well. But Ajinkya Rahane, he got some runs in the second innings at Lords, but even he'll be under pressure now to get those runs. This pitch is pretty good. This pitch is flattened out. Then there is Rishabh Pant, there is Ravindra Jadeja. There's still quite a bit of batting in Shami and Bumrah, of course, got some runs at Lords. it is suddenly looking pretty interesting because India did not manage too many in the first innings, and they scored. They've also scored at a pretty good rate. They scored 215 for two so far of 80 overs at a run rate of 2.68. And guess what? It was Cheteshwar Pujara who really upped the ante, and that's why the India second innings is suddenly beginning to look so good, and it's going to be a very interesting passage of play tomorrow. Very important passage of play because England will have to go back to the drawing board, think long and hard, and see how they can they can create that they can create those chances and put the Indian batsmen under pressure. There is a lot of experience there with James Anderson. Of course, he's a very experienced bowler, but then the likes of Ollie Robinson, Craig Overton, Sam Curran, how do they come back on this on this pitch on this very flat surface? Of course, Moeen Ali bowled 11 overs without any success as well. India will meanwhile want to pull through, and they're a proud team. They're a very good team, aren't they? And they showed that Trent Bridge. They showed that at Lords. They've shown that in Australia recently, just a few months back, and now they want to erase that horror of the first innings and bounce back and probably look to save this Test match or put England under pressure. And we put England under real pressure on that final day with Ravindra Jadeja in the bowling armory as well. Well, then that's that. Thank you so much for joining me. Plenty of comments. I'll just quickly go through a few of these comments. Satyavrat Mukherjee, very happy. Abhinandan Pandey, as you said a day before yesterday, yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. You know, this Indian team knows how to fight back, and we have done that. At least this is a start. This is a start of a very resilient Indian show. You know, I still wouldn't call it a fight back. This is the start of a fight back because remember, there's still 139 runs adrift, and that's a pretty healthy lead still for England. And if they chip away at wickets, you never know what can happen. So it's important for the obviously not for the Indian team to get carried away. They won't. They've just been very resolute. Seen Virat Kohli's body language, Rohit Sharma, Cheteshwar Pujara, their body language also spoke a lot about the intent in that team. KL Rahul was happy to leave a lot of those balls outside off stump. They A lot of the players curb their natural instinct, and even that for Cheteshwar Pujara, normally he's solid. He looks to defend. He looks to leave balls outside the off stump. He was very ready. He was keen to punish those loose deliveries. Well, Sachin Chaudhary saying tomorrow first star is very important for India team. Sachin, it's important. I couldn't agree with you more. It's also important for England because they want to get chip away at that Indian batting lineup and get a few wickets. You know, you never know. Couple of early wickets and you get into Rahane. Um, Anything can happen from there on. But this Indian team is beginning to look extremely confident, and they would have been hurt by everything that went down in the first innings. Um, that's all that we have for now. Ankur Basu is saying India should go for a win or draw. Which one is tactically right? Look, Ankur, it's still a little early to take a call on that, right? But again, having knowing this Indian team, they're probably thinking of a victory. You never know because look at the strike. Look at the it wasn't. There was a lot of talk around batting out time. There was a lot of talk around being defensive on whether how many balls they can leave and really looking to looking to be very defiant. But here they have batted out 80 overs and got 215 runs. Look at the way Cheteshwar Pujara came out. Look at the way Virat Kohli is batting. They are confident. They're looking to score runs. They're looking to chip away at that lead. Australia, so by beg your pardon, England had a massive lead, and then they've now chipped it down to 139, which still is a significant lead, which is still a significant lead in the context of this game. But look at the pitch, look at the conditions, and look at the way India have actually come out and batted. Also, remember, just because it's a flat pitch does not take anything away from India's batsmen because they were under the pressure, they were crushing under the mountain of a massive, having considered a massive lead for England. And you've seen funny things happen. Pressure can do funny things in Test cricket, but really all credit to the Indians for batting the way they did. Um, I can only guess what India could do tactically from here. But like I said, for having followed this Indian team, they might be thinking, right? 215 runs, they still adrift by 139 runs. They come out back tomorrow, maybe get around, who knows, like 90 more overs, 90 overs tomorrow, 90, 93 overs, 90 overs tomorrow, and probably try and get about 250, 60, 270 runs. Who knows what can happen and who knows how many more they can add on the final day and probably look to put some pressure on this England lineup. But again, it's again, I know it's, I'm just fantasizing about a victory. It's very wishful thinking at this stage. They'll be very happy if they can draw this game, having conceded that mammoth lead. So in the Pakistan, don't you think in that in the first innings, Indian batsmen were engulfed by overconfidence about their shot selection? Look, Swarandi, it was very poor batting in the first innings. It was poor application. It's not just about overconfidence. I think it was some poor shot selection. KL Rahul played at Jimmy Anderson. Rohit Sharma's shot was a little baffling. Some of the same problems recurring in the first innings for Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahana's dismissal just at the stroke of that break was disappointing. Rishabh Pant's shot was a nothing shot really. Wouldn't I wouldn't call it overconfidence, but I'd just say that they were unable to handle those conditions with the ball swinging and with the lengths that the England bowlers bowled. They were fuller up when there was some assistance. And you also have to understand that there was assistance there, which India could have also benefited from. But the fact is that Virat Kohli won the toss and decided to bat at that stage, and India should have shown a lot better application. This was totally not a 78 all-out pitch at all. Pujara haters are underground now. Bad umpiring today. Rohit not out. Yes, there's a lot of questions around Rohit Sharma's dismissal, but yes, Cheteshwar Pujara. Look, with Cheteshwar Pujara, the fact is that when he did remarkably well in Australia, there was there were a lot of there was a lot of praise for him. There was a lot of praise for Rohit Sharma. He was batting brilliantly. He was completely he overawed the Australian bowling attack with his defiance, with his steady innings. He took blows on the body. He scored some runs. He scored a couple of half centuries, and he was instrumental in that series victory for India down under. But it is a fact that after that he wasn't getting those runs. He wasn't getting those runs that he was expected to get. And when a player goes to that slump, some questions will be asked, especially if you're making those mistakes over and over again. So there will be some questions asked. Yes, and that is why we on Sports Today have always been very balanced. Remember what we were talking about in the after the first innings: poor application, poor shot selection. They should have done much better than 78 all out, but it's important to understand that this is a very good team and you can never write this team off. You cannot write this team off. Again, I don't want to sound over confident myself because there's still a lot of cricket to be played, 2 days of cricket to be played, and we'll see how all of that goes. Shubham Goyal, tomorrow, if we don't lose a wicket in session one, then we have a chance to win this. Well, again, like I said, victory is still a little bit of a far cry. But yes, if India don't lose wickets in the first session, and if Kohli and Pujara can continue in the same momentum, they have, they're going to put India in a very good position. Aditya Pandey sir, I'm a big fan of you. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you so much for chipping in with your comments and your views. Antar Basus in Pant, shouldn't Pant take more responsibility? Well, look, that's the way Pant plays. But having said that, that shot in that first innings was not on. It was a nothing shot. Still don't know what he was trying to do, but he would have also, because looking at Pant's trajectory, his career trajectory, from the way he started to the way he's now, he looks to spend time at the crease. He looks to build his innings, and then he knows he has that array of shots to put the opposition under pressure. So hopefully he'll do some of that in the second innings for India. His role is going to be very critical, very critical in the context of this test match. Well, thank you so much for your comments, for your questions. A good day for Indian cricket, for the Indian cricket team after 2 days of England domination at Headingley. This is something that India should be very proud at the end of the third day in this test match. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll come back with a lot more tomorrow, and please do subscribe to Sports. We try and bring you the best of all sports coverage around the world. Thank you. Have a very good night.